The county sheriff's cruiser left a brown cloud of dust as it braked hard at the gate of Eric Thompson's service dog training facility.
Mr. Thompson, I have a seize and impound order. These dogs are being removed today.
On what grounds? These dogs are federally protected under the ADA. You can't just take them. Noise. The HOA filed 17 complaints. You're a public nuisance, and now the county agrees this is retaliation. You've wanted this place shut down for months.
Without a word, the animal control officers opened each run. 16 golden retrievers, still wearing their ADA vests, were herded out.
At least let me call the disabled veterans who are counting on these dogs. They're not my problem. Quiet streets are.
The hydraulic lift whined as the last crate was pushed into the truck. The engine revved, and Eric could only watch the metal doors close on months of work. He stood frozen at the gate, but his eyes had changed, from shock to something harder. He wasn't done, not by a long shot. 3 months earlier, Eric Thompson's nonprofit training facility was a place of hope, not chaos. James Martinez, in a wheelchair, and Sarah Patel with a prosthetic leg, were counting the days until their dogs were ready.
I haven't slept through the night in 3 years. They say a service dog can make everything quiet.
I just want to walk without pain. A dog could give me my independence back.
Eric put the dogs through their paces in the training yard, unaware that the first threat was already on its way. Anna Whitfield pulled up in a white Range Rover, clutching a clipboard and a fresh complaint form.
That barking is a public nuisance. I am filing a formal complaint with the HOA and the county. Those dogs are ADA-protected service animals. Federal law supersedes your noise ordinance.
Anna didn't argue. She snapped a photo of the kennel, got back in her car, and drove away, but this was only the beginning. That night, Eric opened a folder labeled ADA Compliance and started making calls. The real fight was still to come. Over the next 2 weeks, Anna filed 3 formal noise complaints with the HOA, each backed by decibel readings she recorded from the property line. Then the HOA sent an official letter: cease all dog training by month's end or fines would follow.
The constant barking disrupts the peace of the community. This facility is in violation of Covenant 4.7. Covenant 4.7 doesn't apply to AD services. They know that.
Eric requested a hearing before the HOA board. Margaret Holloway presided, pearls gleaming as he laid out his defense.
42 USC 12,182 prohibits discrimination by public accommodations. A service dog training facility is covered. We're not a public accommodation, Mr. Thompson. We're a private community. Your barking dogs are a nuisance, plain and simple.
And I've got the sound readings. Every day over 70 decibels. That's unreasonable.
The board voted unanimously to proceed with enforcement. Eric walked out knowing time was running out. That night, Eric stared again at the compliant folder. A machine that ignored federal law was in motion, and it was about to get worse. The HOA's monthly newsletter landed in mailboxes the next morning. Anna had written the Community Watch column. The headline read, "Service Dog Facility Brings Undesirables." It publicly named disabled veterans James Martinez and Sarah Patel, awaiting life-changing service dogs.
Undesirable? I served in Fallujah. This is what they think of me.
They put our names in a public newsletter. Now, the whole county knows. They're using you to get to me. This isn't just a noise complaint anymore.
An hour later, Eric was in James's living room, the newsletter crumpled on the coffee table.
They're not going to get away with this. I am filing a federal complaint.
He dialed the VA Voc rehab coordinator, describing the retaliation in clinical terms. By sundown, an ADA complaint sat in the DOJ database. A case number was assigned. Anna posted a smug comment on the HOA forum. Finally, the truth comes out. She had no idea what was coming. The following Monday, Anna Whitfield walked into the county commissioner's office with a stack of HOA complaints and a demand for immediate action. Within an hour, a seize and impound order was drafted and signed. No hearing, no notice, just a rubber stamp. Deputy Kevin Mills was the officer assigned to deliver it. He looked at the paper like it was burning his hands.
Seize and impound all canines on the premises. This isn't a noise ordinance. This is a raid.
He grabbed his phone and dialed James first, then Sarah. The calls were brief, brutal.
They're seizing the dogs tomorrow. I need you both here. I need witnesses.
The next morning, Deputy Mills pulled into the driveway with the order on his clipboard. Eric was waiting.
I am sorry, Eric. I have to do this. The order's from a judge.
I know you are just following orders, but this isn't over. Not by a long shot.
He stared at the kennel runs where the 16 dogs still slept. In a few hours, they'd be gone. And then, he knew, the real battle would begin. In the silent kennel, Eric opened his laptop and clicked through to the Department of Justice's ADA complaint portal. He attached every HOA letter, the newsletter, and the signed seizure order. Under description, he typed 4 words: retaliation against disabled veterans. 72 hours later, a black SUV with federal plates braked in the gravel outside his gate.
Mr. Thompson, I am Special Agent Sarah Chen, DOJ Civil Rights Division. Your case has been assigned to me. They didn't just take my dogs. They publicly humiliated 2 veterans who served this country. I need names, dates, and all correspondence. If this is retaliation under 42 U.S.C. 12,203, it won't stand.
For the next 2 hours, Eric laid out the entire timeline, the complaints, the board meeting, the shaming newsletter, and the moment the truck drove away. She asked to see the dogs. At the commercial boarding facility, the 16 Goldens lay in sterile crates, their training progress destroyed. The veterinarian, Dr. Foster, handed her a chart. Anxiety, weight loss, he said quietly. Weeks of progress lost. After touring the kennel, Agent Chen tucked away her notebook and met Eric's eyes. "I'll be in touch," she said, and for the first time, Eric felt the machinery of the law shift. Agent Chen started with the veterans. James Martinez sat in his wheelchair, a photo of his assigned dog on the table between them.
That dog was going to help me sleep. Now, I am awake every night, thinking about what she called me.
I've been called many things, but undesirable in my own neighborhood. I haven't left the house in days.
Then Chen drove to the HOA office. Anna Whitfield adjusted her blazer and offered a cool smile.
There's no discrimination here. I just wanted peace and quiet. Those dogs were a menace.
When Agent Chen turned to Margaret Holloway, the HOA president's tone was glacial.
Our bylaws give us the right to regulate nuisances. We followed procedure. The county agreed. If those veterans can't handle a little criticism, maybe they shouldn't be out in public.
Anna had written, "We need to make this personal. Name the vets. Shame them until Eric gives up." That was the smoking gun. Agent Chen added it to her file. The case for retaliation was no longer circumstantial. Agent Chen met Eric at his kitchen table that evening, a thick printout of federal statutes beside her coffee.
42 U.S.C. Section 12,203 prohibits retaliation against anyone who associates with disabled persons. That covers your nonprofit and your veterans.
So what does that mean in dollars?
She turned to a portable whiteboard and wrote a single figure, $75,000.
That's the minimum civil penalty per incident. 16 dogs equals 16 separate violations.
So, we're talking over $1 million, just to start.
Back in her DOJ office, Chen had already mapped out the full exposure. With damages, fees, and injunctive relief, the number could skyrocket.
If we prove willful retaliation, the court can multiply the damages. This is a nuclear option, Eric, and it's ironclad.
Eric stared at the whiteboard. He'd only wanted to train dogs. Now he held the trigger to a financial bomb. Agent Chen capped her marker. "Anna Whitfield has no idea what she's facing, and that's exactly how we want it." A certified envelope from the Department of Justice landed in Anna Whitfield's mailbox the next morning.
Notice of investigation. Civil Rights Division. What a joke. My homeowner's insurance covers legal disputes. They'll handle this. I'm not worried.
She tossed the letter into the trash, but across town, Margaret Holloway opened an identical envelope and went pale. Within hours, she called an emergency board meeting. The conference room felt like a war council.
This isn't a noise complaint anymore. The DOJ is alleging civil rights violations. They can sue us personally.
2 board members argued it was Anna's fault, not theirs. Margaret reminded them the vote had been unanimous.
Our directors' and officers' insurance might not hold. We need our own lawyer, separate from Anna's.
Meanwhile, Anna posted a confident message on social media, "Told you so, the truth will set me free." She had no idea the insurance company was already reviewing her file under a specific exclusion clause. By week's end, Agent Chen subpoenaed the HOA's full insurance file, all meeting minutes and every communication about the kennel.
They're scrutinizing our directors' and officers' policy. If the insurer finds a reason to deny, every board member is personally exposed.
Anna Whitfield hired a downtown firm with a reputation for aggressive defense. Their first move was a threat letter. The letter read, "Mr. Thompson's ADA claim is frivolous. We will file for sanctions and defamation counterclaims."
Let them come. My insurance has handled bigger cases than this. I am bulletproof.
That night, Margaret Holloway called an executive session. No Anna, just the board and a hired attorney.
The DOJ is building a case of systemic discrimination. Anna's bravado could bankrupt this entire HOA.
But Anna, on her own, posted another message. "Fighting tyranny one lie at a time. The truth out soon." Her lawyer followed up with a third letter, this time demanding Eric drop all complaints or face crippling legal fees. But at the DOJ, Agent Chen tacked the letters onto her growing case file. Each threat was another proof of retaliation. Anna Whitfield tore open the envelope from her homeowner's insurance, expecting a routine confirmation. The letter read, "Claim denied. Intentional civil rights violations are excluded under your policy."
That's absurd. I've paid premiums for 20 years. This is a mistake.
But before she could dial her agent, Agent Chen appeared at her door with a formal notice in hand.
Your insurer has determined this case is intentional. You are now personally liable for every penalty and damage.
Personal liability? That's millions. I can't. I won't pay that.
Across town, Margaret Holloway received a similar bombshell from the HOA's carrier.
The D&O policy excludes reckless conduct. They're refusing to defend any of us. We're all exposed.
The word "exposed" echoed through both homes. Anna's mockery had vanished, replaced by a cold, creeping dread. Her home, her savings, her entire future, none of it was protected anymore. The DOJ's formal complaint landed on the conference table. Highlighted in yellow, $4,200,000 total liability.
16 dogs at $75,000 each, plus damages for the veteran's emotional trauma and the lost training investment, brings the total to $4.2 million.
I'll lose my house, my retirement, everything I've ever worked for. You can't be serious.
DOJ investigators began cataloging her assets. Her home, her jewelry, her investments, all listed. Items she had flaunted on social media now appeared on a forfeiture sheet. The irony was bitter. She made frantic calls to old friends and wealthy acquaintances. One by one, they made excuses.
No, it's not criminal. It's civil. But they can take everything, please. I just need a loan to cover the defense.
Eric sat in his living room as Chen explained the breakdown. The numbers were stark.
So she stands to lose everything. I never wanted to destroy her. Just get my dogs back.
The $4.2 million figure wasn't just a threat. It was the end of Anna Whitfield's world. The next day, Anna's lawyer dropped the bravado. His advice was blunt: settle or lose everything.
Settle with that man? After everything he's put me through.
But her lawyer had already authorized a back-channel offer. By evening, it reached Eric's attorney.
They're offering $500,000, but it's contingent on a confidentiality clause and no admission of wrongdoing.
Number. Not without full restitution for the dogs, a public apology to James and Sarah, and a bylaw change that protects us permanently.
His counter-conditions were delivered that night. Anna's reply came in the form of a thrown water glass.
A public apology? I'll see him in court before I let him humiliate me like that.
Her lawyer warned that a trial would expose every email, every post, every moment of retaliation. Eric wasn't surprised by the refusal. "She still thinks she's untouchable," he said, "but the law disagrees." The stalemate was complete. Anna had just closed the door on her last clean exit. A week later, in the same sterile interview room, James Martinez asked to speak again. His voice was stronger this time.
I didn't just lose a dog. I lost the one thing that was supposed to bring me back from the war.
They put my name in a newsletter like I was a criminal. I couldn't leave my house without feeling everyone's eyes.
Agent Chen didn't interrupt. She let the silence hold their words, then closed her notebook gently.
You are not what she called you. You are the reason I fight.
Outside, his jaw tightened. If Anna wanted to see what real retaliation looked like, he'd show her.
These testimonies will make it impossible for a judge to see this as a simple property dispute. The human cost is undeniable.
The file folder thickened. Every page was another nail in Anna's defense.
They deserve more than a settlement. They deserve to be seen.
And for the first time, the battle wasn't about dogs or money. It was about dignity. The DOJ filed the formal complaint, listing each violation and the full $4.2 million in penalties. Within hours, a federal judge signed an asset freeze order. Anna's bank accounts, investments, and home stopped being hers.
This can't be happening. I can't even buy groceries.
She tried every ATM in town. Each one rejected her card with the same cold message: funds unavailable.
They took everything. I am not some criminal.
She's finally feeling what she did to us.
Anna's lawyer arrived, grim-faced. The only way out now is a complete surrender to Eric's terms. She sat alone in her frozen mansion, the silence louder than any dog bark. She faced a choice: fight and lose everything at trial, or accept a settlement that would strip her bare but leave a shred of dignity. Outside her door, the world moved on. But inside, the clock was ticking toward her final answer. In a final act of desperation, Anna tried to sell her diamond earrings at a local jeweler. The store's computer flagged the federal freeze instantly. The manager slid the case back across the counter.
You don't understand. I need that money. It's mine, and I won't let them take it.
But the court had already been alerted. A contempt warning threatened criminal charges if she moved another cent. The freeze tightened further. Even her retirement accounts were locked, and she couldn't pay her legal fees.
What am I supposed to do? Starve? They've left me with nothing, and I have no way to fight back.
Eric heard the news from Agent Chen. Anna was circling the drain, but he didn't celebrate.
She brought this on herself, but I never wanted to see her this low.
He sat in his living room, the weight of the victory heavy, but necessary. Anna collapsed on her sofa, the silence louder than any scream. The only way out was complete surrender. Anna's attorney called the DOJ that evening, voice stripped of all bluster. She'll accept terms. Just tell us what it takes.
It takes everything, counselor. Full restitution, full apology, and a permanent change to the HOA's power over veterans.
And the dogs come back, every one of them. Plus enough restitution to expand the kennel 3 times its size.
Eric wrote the demands on a single sheet. $4.2 million in restitution, a public apology in the next newsletter, the return of all dogs within 72 hours, and a federal bylaw amendment. The paper was faxed to Anna's lawyer. She stared at it for a full hour without moving.
He wants me to admit I was wrong? In public? After everything?
Her lawyer spread out the alternative: a trial, a $4.2 million judgment, and possible criminal contempt. The math was cold.
Fine. Set the conference, but I won't grovel.
A settlement conference was scheduled for Thursday at 10 a.m. Neither side could turn back now. Eric folded the paper and looked at the empty kennel. By the weekend, it might finally have dogs again. Thursday at 10 a.m., the settlement conference began in a sterile federal building, every chair filled, every nerve drawn tight.
There is no more negotiation. The terms are final, sign, or we proceed to trial at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
The document lay on the polished wood, the $4.2 million figure in bold at the top, the apology clause halfway down.
All my life, reduced to this signature.
For 10 seconds, the pen did not move. Then, with a sharp breath, she pressed down and signed her name. The room exhaled. The settlement was now legally binding.
The DOJ will file this with the court this afternoon. The asset freeze lifts only after full compliance.
The dogs will be back by Friday.
Anna gathered her things without looking at anyone. Her house, her savings, her status, gone, but she had avoided a criminal cell. Eric watched her go, then folded his copy of the agreement. A quiet victory, but a victory nonetheless. 2 days later, a federal judge signed the final order, extinguishing Anna's property claims and permanently designating Eric's land an ADA access site. The order stripped the HOA of all authority over service dog facilities and mandated a bylaw amendment within 48 hours.
This site is now protected federally. Any future interference will be a direct contempt of court order.
An hour later, a DOJ workman installed the bronze plaque on Eric's gate, while he and Agent Chen looked on.
That sign means no HOA, no Karen, no county official can ever touch this place again.
That afternoon, the HOA's emergency newsletter reached every resident. The front page announced, bylaws amended, ADA facilities shielded. A printed apology followed. The board regrets the harm caused to James Martinez and Sarah Patel and retracts all prior statements. Margaret Holloway resigned that evening, and the board voted to dissolve its animal control committee. Eric stood at his open gate, looking out at the road where the sheriff's truck had once idled. The battle was over, and for the first time in months, the only sound from his kennel would be dogs preparing to heal lives. With the settlement funds cleared, Eric broke ground on a kennel 3 times the original size, the morning air thick with sawdust and hope. Framers raised the walls while he walked the footprint, seeing not lumber but the future runs and the dogs that would fill them.
This space will train twice as many dogs. No one's taking them again.
That afternoon, Dr. Foster pulled up with a transport van. The 16 Goldens, a little thinner but tails wagging, were home.
They're a little thin, Eric, but they remember your voice. Every one of them. Then let's get them back to work.
By noon the next day, the first dog was back on the new training floor, retrieving a dumbbell like the interruption never happened. The new facility had running water, climate control, and 24 spacious runs. It was no longer just a kennel, it was a center. Eric stood in the center of the training yard, a Golden at his side, and felt the old mission come alive again.
James's dog is almost ready. Sarah's too. By Monday they'll meet their partners.
Monday morning, the new training center gleamed under the sun as a van carrying James Martinez turned into the drive.
James, meet your battle buddy. He's been waiting for this as long as you have.
Hey, boy. I didn't think this day would come. I didn't think I'd feel hope again.
The Golden pressed his head into James's lap, and the former Marine broke down, tears falling onto the dog's fur.
She's perfect. Eric, I can already feel the weight lifting.
Sarah knelt and wrapped her arms around the Golden, her prosthetic steady on the ground, sobs shaking her shoulders.
This is why I fought. Not for money. For this moment.
The 3 posed together in the sunlight, James in his wheelchair with a calm dog, Sarah standing tall with hers, and Eric behind them. The dogs wore fresh ADA vests, and their new partners looked like soldiers who had finally come home. Eric looked toward the road where the sheriff's truck had once idled, and for the first time, the memory brought only peace. On the other side of town, Anna Whitfield carried the last cardboard box to a waiting sedan, the for sale, bank-owned sign a silent testament behind her. She didn't look back at the rose bushes or the empty rooms. The woman who once wanted silence had nothing but. Eric stood at his gate as the afternoon sun caught the bronze plaque. Federally protected ADA access site, words that had been earned, not given. Inside the clubhouse, the amended HOA bylaws hung in a plain frame. The section on animal-related disputes was crossed out entirely. He walked the new concrete floors, passing runs where Golden retrievers dozed after training. Every bark was a testament to what had been saved. Outside, the sun sank behind the training yard, painting the hills in orange and gold. The work wasn't finished. It was only beginning on a foundation that couldn't be shaken. A young Golden retriever bounded toward him, still wearing its ADA vest, tail a blur of joy. Eric knelt and let the dog press its forehead to his.
Grandpa would have liked this. Keep your receipts, and don't let the bastards take what's yours.
He rose, dusted off his jeans, and watched the last light disappear. The quiet here wasn't the silence Anna craved. It was the quiet of purpose, steady and alive. In the end, 16 dogs came home, 2 veterans found their partners, and a bully learned that the law has teeth. The kennel stood, bigger, safer, forever.